Alcoholic. Hi, everyone. My name is Theresa. I'm an alcoholic. We talk about God being in charge. First, Ali, I was like, who's introducing Polly? He was like, you are. I was like, all I could do is do the format, man. And then he was like, okay. Then he asked me, I was like, all I could do is the format. I could just get through the format. And then he's like, she's not here. Would you mind? It's you. I don't know where this is gonna go. God's in charge. Perhaps it'll do something for me and hopefully for somebody else. My sobriety date is March 29, 1990. This meeting is special to me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm not camera ready. I don't care. I don't have lighting and none of that stuff. This is just me, raw. I want to welcome anybody who's new. Welcome home. Please keep coming back. And old timers, thank you for my life and my sobriety. I love Polly. I was looking forward to being fed by her today. I guess God got other plans. I'm gonna go with her topic because I think it's so appropriate and fitting for me as well. And Polly's topic was as we go through the day, we pause when agitated or doubtful, and we ask for the right thought or action from page 87. And that's provided that I am spiritually fit, you know what I mean? That I'm able to pause because if I haven't cleaned house, if I haven't done steps 1 through 10, or at least daily, take a look at where I'm at and have an awareness of where my defects of character manifest, then I don't know if I'll be even pausing. And there are times I don't pause, and that's when I need somebody else's pause. Oh, goodness gracious, great balls of fire where we go with this. I'm like, Ali, okay. Let me get stuff out of the way. You know, this is uncomfortable and awkward. In general, right now I was telling her I'm so raw. I mean, some of you know and some of you don't know. My mother passed away on Thursday. And I've just been in this whirlwind. I'm on this journey. And you know, oh, okay. One thing I'm going to start by saying, I've been saying this, a lot of times in 32 years of my sobriety, there's so many things that have been, what's the word? Uncertain, indispensable, or rather, you know, I've financial losses, loved ones, relationships, friendships that are my friends today and not my friends tomorrow, where I'm going to live, thinking I'm going to live there and not live there anymore, all these external dynamics that is a part of, as Bill calls it, the drama of life. And in all of that, in all of this uncertainty, I always share this and I mean it. There's one thing that I don't ever want to have a question mark, and that I'm an alcoholic, because somehow that is my anchor. That is what, because there are times I don't even know there's a God, honestly. And I've been doing meditation and prayer, and I'm a priest in my tradition, and we have religious practices in our family, and I know rituals, Catholic school, 11 and a half years. And there are times that I go, I don't think there's a God, and we're fooling ourselves. But there's one thing I don't ever want to doubt, and it's that I'm an alcoholic. Because what happens when I say I'm an alcoholic, it allows me to center into that knowingness and that awareness, which will begin to help me to understand what I'm going through. My disease is centered in my thinking. So what happens? You know, it says insanity returns and then we drink again. So there's circumstances and situations that I go cocoa for Cocoa Puff. You know what I mean? It's like, and I believe the disease uses that to its advantage. It's some real life situations, and my head starts going of doom and gloom. You know, it tells us that I have to be cautious of morbid reflection, of depression and self-pity. But if I know I'm an alcoholic, I go, okay, I can't figure everything else out, but what is it that I can do? I can treat my alcoholism. And somehow that gives me certainty. It gives me clarity. It gives me hope. It gives me peace. How do I treat my alcoholism? I need to be restored to sanity, and I have to believe that there is a power that will. How do I know that? I turn to your sanity. In the past few weeks, I've made so many calls. I just did it. I think that I called Ralph or he called me this morning. I don't know. But you all right, T? No, I'm not. I'm not okay. You know what I mean? I'm in my head. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know where God is right now. I'm confused. I'm lost. And I'm relying on someone else's sanity. I'm like, he's saying I'm not. And then what do? I just need direction. And usually direction is to know that God can and I can't. And even with these years, I forget that because I have a sponsor who says I can't see the frame when I'm in the picture, right? It's so hard to do that. And so then you remind me, there's a God. Okay, there's a God. There's a God. And can I make a decision to trust that idea, not even to know what this God is? It's interesting, in the big book, we talk about a God of our own understanding. And I think it's a way that they gently guide me to let go of prejudices, of my idea of religion and God. But if I really look at the big book and the way it's outlined, and when they share their experience, they kind of start telling me and defining God. God is my director. That's an adjective, that's a noun. What is God? God, I don't have to go, what do I want God to be? He's my director, my employer. You see what I'm saying? I'm the child, he's the father. That gives me a definition. God is infinite, I am finite. And I begin to be given these adjectives or these nouns of defining what is it that I'm willing to trust. And how do I turn my will in my life? And I'm as not a puppet master, that I can walk hand in hand. What is my objective? That my sanity is returned, so I can have a brain to use, and I can have intuitive thought. That's the whole purpose of when I pause. Whenever you're watching a television program, I don't know about you, but when I press pause, I don't just sit there staring at the television. When I press pause, I go do something. I go to the bathroom, I get something to eat. You know what I'm saying? So, in this saying, pause when agitated, is so I can do something. I'm putting a pause in the drama of life. I'm putting a pause in how I think I'm supposed to manage my life. I'm pressing the pause button of thinking I need to figure out my life. I'm pressing the pause button on how I think I'm supposed to react to the situation that's happening in my life. That's when I'm putting a pause button on. I'm going to pause that for a second. And then I'm going to go inward and see what's the disturbance about. I'm going to look at where my defects of character are trying to play a role here. I want to recognize that there is a God. I'm not in charge. Ask for those things to be removed. And I need to do all of that before I click the play button. I mean, that's how it's been. Okay, now I can press play. I've been doing that for years, but I'm going to focus on my current experience. I thank God there's a program in the 12 steps. I don't know where I would be. I don't know where my mother would have been, my family. It's something when you're talking to doctors, and I take her to the emergency room and they tell me, I'm thinking one thing's going on, and they say, you need to decide right now to put a ventilator in her because your mother's dying in this moment and she's going to stop breathing. And we only got X amount of seconds before there's no oxygen going to her brain. I had to still put a pause. You know what I mean? I need a pause. And I got to learn, if I had not been practicing these steps, I would not be able to instantaneously pause. You know what I'm saying? Go in, God. You know what I mean? My selfishness. So, I'm sorry, I have to do that fast so I could turn around and go, put it in. You know what I'm saying? Stick it in. And then from there, moving forward, talking to all kind of people telling me what to do, what I shouldn't do, what I need to do, what I have to do. what mommy has wanted me to do. And all along, I need to practice this, practice this. I'm going nuts. Where is a God? I'm angry. I'm frustrated. I'm terrified. What do? I have you. Sometimes I can't do it. Do you know what I'm saying? I need you. So what do I do when I pause? I make a phone call sometimes. And I say, help me. I don't know what to do. I'm not sure where I'm at. I'm afraid. I'm being selfish. I'm self-centered. You know, I learned that when we call others and we tap into this source of power, what is the first thing that I'm invited to do in the first 9 steps is to discover my faults, not my rights, my wrongs. To discover where I believe I have this sense of power, this false ego sense of power and pride, to learn and gather enough evidence to find out that I don't. That's really what the first 9 steps are about, is I need to see, and 10 just supports that, right? I have to continuously look at that, but I need to see I'm not in charge. Well, where's the evidence? Look at all this. It don't work. Quit playing God. It don't work. Okay, now what do I have to do? I gotta hear. I need to be in a place to hear. What's the next indicated action? Well, if I haven't been practicing prayer and meditation, when I need it the most, I'm in trouble because I won't know what the voice sounds like. I won't know the familiarity of the inner spirit or the inner voice I won't know what it is. And when I need it the most, I have to know that it says go right or go left, make a phone call. Sometimes I go in and I go, okay, God, just give me a name. Just give me a name. Just give me a name, the person that's dialed into you. I just need a name, and I have to know how to hear it go, Ali. And I don't go, why him? He don't know nothing. I'm going, I don't do that. I just go, I don't know. I don't know. I just got your name. You know what I'm saying? Your name just came to me, man. I don't I don't know what's happening, but I just got your name. And usually it's right on time. But if I haven't been practicing any of the 12 steps, in times like this, I think right now you wouldn't even be talking to me. Because what I've discovered in the gift that's been given, the miracle that's happened, is that despite all of this, not a thought has occurred to me to drink. Gets me every time. A drunk like me that drank my entire life from the day I was conceived and born, alcohol was my oxygen, the blood that ran through my veins, that I didn't go one day with even considering the option of not drinking. And today, where the pain seems to be the most, my knee-jerk reaction isn't to go to a bar. That still floors me, you guys. Is my knee-jerk reaction to be admitted into a mental institution in a straitjacket sometimes? Oh, yeah. Is my knee-jerk reaction to punch that nurse in the face because if she says something stupid to me one more time? Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? If my thought sometimes is to put my foot up that doctor's ass. Oh, yes, indeed. There's so many people that don't realize how blessed they are as a result of the 12 steps. You have no idea. When people say, thank you so much, Theresa, for your kindness, your consideration, and your patience with us, I tell them, you need to thank the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. Because if you left it up to me, this would be going down completely different. Oh, my goodness gracious, great balls of fire. But it also gives me the ability to have some voice that sometimes I don't have. You know, these last few couple years with mommy has been very challenging. And I've been weary, you guys. I've been weary. I've been tired. I've been sad. especially after mommy came out the hospital from the brain hemorrhage. It just has not been the same. To me, that's not a quality of life. Just waiting for Pampers to be changed and to be fed mushy food. And it was breaking my heart and it was breaking me down. And I just remember, I'm talking to the director of this, of the ICU. And she's telling me she's trying to accommodate everything that I'm asking her to do. And she said, I'm listening, you guys, it's hard. I have to pause. I have to listen. I'm listening to what she's saying when I'm self-centered right now. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm all in me, myself, and I, my mom, and da-da-da. And how do I listen to this woman? And then she says to me, I need you to do me a favor. Can you do me a favor? I don't know. Let's see. Can you be patient with us? And I paused. I waited. And I said, no, I cannot. I don't have it. I don't have it. I'm not going to try. I'm not going to say I'm willing to consider having it. I don't have it. Now what? I don't have it for you. I barely have it for me. What do we do now? And it gave her, and I didn't say it mean. Do you know what I mean? I believe, do you see what I'm saying? Sometimes we believe that spirituality looks like accommodation. I know I thought that spirituality was going to be me floating on a lotus flower or something. I don't know, or walking on water. The more I develop spiritually, the more my conscious contact with God becomes more polished and refined. I become more human, actually. I become more of a human being. Because to be humble is to recognize that I'm flawed. To be humble is to recognize that the perfection is my imperfections. And the acceptance of that. And then I believe God can do what God does, because I'm not trying to stand in the way of being perfect or looking perfect or sounding God, God-like. And I'm not worried about, having power and control. I just end up being. And the hardest thing I've had to develop here in recovery is just to be. And to me, spiritual development and what the 12 steps give me is just to be. I get to be a human being rather than a human doing. And she heard what I said. And the only thing she said to me then was, then can you just have them call me if there's a problem first? I can do that. And she'll have the patience for the both of us. What do I do with prayer and meditation? Pausing when agitated, tapping into this God consciousness when my heart is broken, when everything around me appears to be threatened. I recognize that I'm an alcoholic. I'm telling you guys, my first thing isn't, I'm going to tap into the source of power and I'm going to sing Kumbaya because I will be one with my breathing exercises. And no, I'm sorry. No, that's not what I do. That's not what I do. I go, I'm an alcoholic. What does that mean? That means that my perception of what is happening, good or bad in my life, will be seen through the eyes of an alcoholic. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm going to be seeing this through the eyes of an alcoholic, and I need somebody to straighten out my lenses to make sure that what I'm seeing that's good is actually good, or what is bad is actually good. It's actually good. And the only way I know how to do that is to turn to you, to turn inward, to clean house, to stay still enough, to ask God to remove. You know, I had to take mommy on Thursday. I scheduled for 10 a.m. to go to the hospital and remove the ventilator. And I couldn't get it together, y'all. I could not get it together. I was in my pajamas and my cousin was here from Florida. And my nephews are at the hospital and they calling me, are you coming? I could not get it together. I didn't go, let me sit in a lotus position and light some incense and start breathing so I can get out the house. All I know is I couldn't get it together. I don't remember. Ralph called me or I call him because sometimes Ralph, Rico, you know what I mean? There's key people who feel what I got going. They'll be like, you all right? And I'll be like, no, no, I'm not. Not okay. I can't get it together. And I remember telling him what was my frustration was I'm trying to get centered. I'm trying to get centered. That's what I kept telling him. I am not centered. I am not centered. I'm not in alignment with God. I need to get an alignment. I'm off. I'm not hearing people. I'm reactive. A nurse says one word, I start yelling. I don't hear the rest of the sentence. I'm not in alignment. And he was like, stop trying to be in alignment. To stop trying to be in alignment. And just be. And after we hung up, I gave Kim, my partner, the phone because the phone don't help when everybody and their mama's ringing about one thing or another. That's outside distractions. And I just sat and I asked God to remove my fear, my selfishness, my self-seeking, my insecurity. Just take it from me. So I could do what? What will you have me be? And what will you have me do? And I need to know what it is. And I can't hear it if I'm caught up what I call in the tornado. How do I get in the eye of the storm? Because that's where it's most peaceful. And I was able to get dressed. My nephews stepped up. I'm so proud of them. My youngest nephew was like, I got you, Titi. I got you. He was like, I got you. The oldest was like, we're doing this. Don't worry about it. We're doing this. Take your time. We got it. And I was able to show up for the rest of the day, mindful about what's most important. Of the question that was given to me wasn't so much I needed to fight anymore for my mother to live, because I've been fighting for her to live for a long time. The question was, how do you want your mother to die? I needed to be present for that, available to that, step into that, and support that idea. And I don't know how to do that without the 12 steps. And we did it. And the beauty of this program is that as difficult as that was, because I understand prayer and meditation, I've practiced all forms of meditation. I've done workshops on meditation. I've been doing transcendental meditation since I was like 6. There are times I've done so many different levels of meditation. I do astral travel. I know how to leave my body and go into the universe. I've done so many levels of the meditation that sometimes I don't want to come back down to earth. I've experienced such an intense relationship with the infinite ultimate power. I have prayers that I can call on God and open up the vortex of the universe and the heaven and step into that space and sit and be one with all angels, all spirits, all guides, ancestors for communion, communication, for insights. I've done all of that. And I'm telling you, I've also gone into spiritual madness because I got to come to earth. And I got to know how to talk to you. It's very easy to learn how to pray and meditate and be at the top of the mountain. Anybody's ever gone on any spiritual retreats? Where you go in, I've done it. I've done silence. I've gone into silent meditation for 2 weeks. I've done vision quest. I can sit in the forest, and wait for the animal totems to come and bring me a message. You know what I mean? I've done all kinds of levels of spiritual, you know what I mean? But you know where I struggle the most? Going to the store, driving in the car. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you. I heard somebody say, you want to hear how spiritually developed you are? It all depends on how you drive. So I'm one with the angels. I'm in my meditation. I get in the car, excuse the language, and everybody's like, you dumb motherfucker, you know what I mean? Did you just drive in front of me? Oh, just go in front of me like I ain't driving. And then like, what happened? How do I take all that spiritual development and apply it to daily activity, my interactions with you, calamity, struggles, failures, successes? And that's been the process for me more than anything with prayer and meditation. I do it so that I can be a human being. I can live in this dimension because I believe there are multiple dimensions. I have support and tools to have the human experience. So I can do what? What is it all for? Step 12 tells me. So I can be purposeful and useful to God's children. I'm not going to say sometimes I don't do it perfectly because I've learned that imperfections is perfect. How else would I learn? My heart is broken right now. There's so certainty. Truth of the matter, I've said it. I think the first thing I did was be angry. Mommy is, and just recently, my mother became my source of income. All these years, I'm telling you, I was angry. All these years, I've taken care of so many family members, and I've never gotten really a dime. Living on a hymn and a prayer. And I don't know if I got cocky, but I got happy because I just got a paycheck. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, ooh, yeah, we're about to rock and roll now. Now we back, you know what I mean? We back on the saddle. I'm finally going to get up from up under. I'm going to pay back debt. I know how to pay my bills because I've been living only on trusting in God. And I'm telling you, Mommy, I was like, oh, Hell no. No, you're not going to die now. And that's the first thing I had to let go of. That was the first thing I needed to let go of so I can be present for this experience. It was an honor and a privilege to be her daughter, to love her in ways she never knew was possible. It was an honor and a privilege to walk her to the other side. To make the decision, at least I gave her, she got 3 hours. And I was present for that. You just got to give me a minute. As a result of the 12 steps and prayer and meditation and pausing, I was able to, after they took off that ventilator, be present for her last 3 hours. Every second and every moment. And I opened up her eyes. See, something told me, where did that come from? There was an intuitive voice that said, open her eyes. And I opened her eyes, and it was like she didn't know she could, you know? And she looked around and she saw us. She saw my nephews. She saw her niece. My cousin is the best of mommy. I'm grateful she was there. My cousin kept saying, the things you're saying about my titi don't match what I know this woman to be in my life. Mommy loved her. To see me, my partner, 2 of her best road dogs, trudging buddies in AA. And each sat with her and held her hand and talked to her and told them how much they loved her. And then my nephew, the youngest, was holding her hand and she was looking at him. And I was present enough to see, when nobody else saw, that her heart was now going to stop. And I began talking to her. I owe this to the 12 steps, you guys. I'm telling you, this is all related. That I was able to just start telling her who she was going to see. She was going to see my brother, her mother. There was so many people waiting for her. I thanked her for my life. I forgave her. I asked for forgiveness. This life is complete. And she slowly drifted off. My cousin said it looked like she fell asleep while I was telling her a bedtime story. But that didn't end for me, you guys. There's a lot more for me to do. I don't know what's in store for me. As my sponsor tells me, I don't know who I am right now. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to live. There's so many question marks. I'm going to come full circle. Right now, I don't know about the church. I don't know about the cemetery. I don't even know what outfit I want to put on her. I don't know. I got to figure out what to put her in. I don't know a lot of things right now. I don't know what's going to happen about anything. And that scares me, and it makes me uncomfortable, and it makes me sad, and it confuses me, and it worries me. So what do? I go, I'm an alcoholic. That's the one thing I know. And I'm going to treat my alcoholism And so I come to the meeting and I tell Ali I can only do the format. You know what I mean? I take the calls from my sponsees. I call my sponsor, my grand sponsor. I follow direction. I pick up a pen and paper. I clean house so I could stay still, pray. Then I'm able to meditate. I go, okay. And I trust and let go and let God and see what happens. It works. It really does. Not because you say so, not because the big book says so, because that's been my experience. You can't tell me there isn't a God and this program don't work. I am a byproduct of it. So that's gonna be my time. I run out of stuff to say. I thank you for all the love and the support that I've been receiving through emails and contributing to that little fundraiser that I was embarrassed that I even have to do. I will tell you this. I told my family, I was like, you know what I don't want you guys to do? Everybody shows up. That happens in my family all the time. You all show up, buy plane tickets, and you get here and I still don't have money to bury her. You know what I mean? Like, that to me is just not logical. So could we stop doing that for once? It just doesn't make sense to me. But I need you guys right now more than ever. I don't know what God's plan was, but this is what it is. I only find out God's plan after it's done. I hope I helped in some way and shared on the topic to the best of my ability. And maybe next time, I don't know, it could be better. I don't know. I thank Polly. I miss Polly. I was so looking forward to being fed. See, that's what I get. Just trying to get something out of the situation. God was like, what? Oh, heck no. You need to give something to my kids. So, and in doing so, I probably received so much in return. Again, thank you for all the texts and the messages and the prayers and whatever little support you've sent me. It has meant so much of all the pouring of love that I've received, because I need it. I'm sad. I'm there right now. I'm just, whoa. My dad used to say, if you don't get what's going on, just say, whoa. So lately I've just been like, whoa, whoa. Thank you so much. I guess now we'll do Q&A.